Darkly.
Welcome to Echoes Darkly, your source for White Wolf / Onyx Path / World of Darkness talk. I am your normal host, DJ Allen, and I am joined by...
Felix. I'm Arcane Watcher's brother and player in his game.
And Felix is the only one of the two of them that could join me tonight. Sean is having some serious technical difficulties. Hopefully he will be watching us shortly, because he is not currently. But we don't have any viewers yet. Hint, hint.
Fair enough.
You want me to watch?
No. No.
I mean, I can just turn around.
Yeah, yeah, got you then. I don't know if you can hear my wife, but she's making fun of me.
I can hear comments in the background.
Yeah.
Like you can probably hear the clickety-clack of me and the occasional voice behind me.
Well, he's behind you. Is that another brother?
Yes, that's the oldest sibling.
Okay. Well, normally whoever's back there is fairly loud, but that's very quiet right now. And but yeah, I've always been able to hear the clickety-clack.
Bad habit. I hit keys real hard.
Well, when I'm on the setup that I'm on right now, which I am, I have my special microphone that cuts out all the external sound, so it's
kinky.
Me. Alrighty.
Special domed silver microphone.
It's a Samson Meteor mic. It's actually really awesome.
I believe it. It looked cool.
It was what was it, $60? Between 60 and 80 at Best Buy. It was I think worth it because I'm going to be doing a lot of broadcasting.
Oh yeah, if you're doing it a lot, it makes sense. I'm running Sean's usual setup of I have a mic on one thing and headphones to hear in my ears.
Yeah. Alrighty, let me try to, before we end, well, describe, well, before we get into that, I'm such a wreck.
Well, it's not like life didn't just throw a huge wrench into your plans. Completely mess up any script you had.
Well, yeah, because the banter back and forth would be a little bit off now. I need to post the, oh god, this is... Oh man, stop! Okay, let's see here.
I'm keeping him up to date via the little chat thing.
Yeah. You should also tell him that he needs to put me in his circles to see what's going on. That was our problem, because we fixed that. Oh man. This is the greatest show ever so far, I'll tell you.
He raves about it quite a bit, so I know he enjoys it. But he knows the technical details of the game a lot better than me. I'm still at the point where it's like, okay, and to shoot somebody, I roll what?
Yeah. Oh, see, I've always had problems with my browser while I'm broadcasting. While I'm using a second browser to do what I'm trying to do here, and I'm flying through this. I'm closing this one. Holy buckets. Oh, there we go. Oh, okay. I got the spinning rainbow wheel. That's hopefully...
Yeah, we have Utah, Colorado all over.
Anything. Rainbow wheel!
So you get Rainbow Dash doing a little circle on your screen.
Yeah, I do. Oh, there it goes back to... All right, we're good. We're good. Well, let me do the announcements. First and foremost, the video for all of the lime-flavored shows from limeflavored.com are going to be on the channel that you are currently watching, folks. And what I'm doing right now is posting in the White Wolf forum the address to that so that everybody else can join us.
And have fun and watch and make fun of the two bearded guys broadcasting themselves to the world.
Yes. And yeah, I didn't know. Yeah, see, Sean needs to grow some facial hair. I know he says he can't, but I can't really either. I got these two big bald spots here, and
I get a little patchy, but this is what happens when you shave every day for 5 years. It starts getting in super thick.
And I only shaved every day for 3 years because I was in the Navy. So
there you go. That was it. You missed the last 2.
yeah. Well, I had a stupid recruiter, and I guess if I'd have thought about it, I'd have done things better.
So what was?
Oh, hey, we've got 2 viewers. Hi, viewers.
Hello, people watching.
Yeah.
Yeah, my recruiter didn't really do a lot of work other than filling out the paperwork. He tried to feed me a line of BS, and I went, and I think you're an idiot. I'm going to go do this myself.
Oh, your brother is sending me message. No, they don't. He says that beards itch. They do at first, but they don't after a while.
You get used to it.
Yes.
Anytime he saw me scratching mine, it's more just, it's like, enjoying the beard.
Yeah, what I have a problem with is I shower at night because I have to get up so freaking early in the morning for my job. So when I wake up, my beard is sticking in all kinds of weird locations, and it's too early to correct it. So I just kind of comb it the best, and then I get this curly thing going on at the bottom.
Yeah. Mine curls in, tucks tight, and then down here where it hits the neck, it flares.
Yes. Well, I actually shave mine so that it doesn't hit the neck, so I'm good there.
It's cold. I like having the fuzz down here to keep my neck warm.
I don't. It's not going to show up on video, but I have a little swirly patch on the side. It's terrible. My wife loves it, but I hate it. Just one swirly.
Which should be fine if it had a matching one on the other side, but one looks weird.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, well, let me go on here. Sean is watching, so this will be, well, it won't be a shock because he's got the rundown too. I am not going to be around our next broadcast, which is January 26th. Sean should be doing that either solo or hopefully with you, Felix.
If it's on something I know anything enough about to chime in on, I will.
Well, he can. Well, since he's running it, he can really talk about anything he wants.
Sure.
Oh, and Sean, you should get your connection fixed so that we can have our green team meeting tomorrow at 8 p.m. Central Time.
It's just because he's in Rexburg. He moved up to Idaho to go to a different college, get away from the family, be his own man, sort of thing. And apparently their internet connection is about 20 years behind. I think they're still using dial-up. Might be the problem.
Wait, are they churning something to get the internet to work?
Would not surprise me. I did think I saw chickens and wheels running.
We have a guinea pig that could run in a wheel, but he doesn't run in a wheel. Unfortunately. So, you are a player in his Hunter the Vigil game. Is that correct?
Absolutely, and I'm loving it.
All right. Explain to me your understanding of Hunter the Vigil.
To my knowledge, this is, World of Darkness by me, Hunter is taking place in a world where all the others, or one of the others, GM's approval, game lines exist, where you might have mages, werewolves, vampires, geist, all of them running around, or limited, depending. And hunters are the humans who just suddenly woke up to the fact that, hey, there's other things out there. Those old stories about things that went bump in the night is real. And decide to do something about it. Whether it's try and police it and keep it minimal, or go pure supernatural and kill everything they find.
I think that's a good... I've never played it, but I think that's a good description. Have you ever... Do you listen to podcasts of any kind?
Rarely. A few survival podcasts, a few ones from Zombie Squad, which I'm also a member of. That's about it.
What you should listen to is Knights of the Night. Their first 50 episodes, 1 through 50, are a Hunter game, and then they just started playing the Hunter game again after doing Dresden.
I don't like the
Oh, good lord. Dresden is amazing, and that must influence their game a lot.
ocean gun.
It's been... I I haven't played anything other than the storytelling system since I was introduced to it in 1995.
So you've just been playing base World of Darkness.
Well, I was introduced into, well, not 95, 94. I was introduced into Vampire the Masquerade and played that for the entire stint of the Navy that I was in. I did smatter in a bit of other stuff. I did get to play a little bit of Mage the Ascension,
Nice.
Werewolf the Apocalypse, and I ran quite a bit of... Well, I was the storyteller for Werewolf exclusively. The guy that ran Vampire, he ran it exclusively, and I also ran Wraith exclusively, but nobody really liked Wraith except me, but I love that game.
I have to say that's one of the lines I have not heard anything about. Sean's got a stack of books, I kid you, that was huge. I mean, he could fit them all into one box, and that box must have weighed 80 pounds. But I don't think he has Wraith.
Well, when I got out of the Navy and I realized that the internet was wonderful and existed and stuff, I started to go collect all the Wraith
14
books.
skill points.
But then I learned about the PDFs and stuff, so then I started converting everything over to PDF. So I still have both of the Wraith, the first edition and the second edition core books,
I have 14
but I
skill
have
points,
all
so
the
that'd be 30
PDFs for Wraith somewhere on my system, so I have the entire game. But I've been hearing that they may be re-releasing it in a new form in the new World of Darkness, which will make me very excited.
Interesting. That would be... What's Wraith about?
What happens after death, basically.
Okay. So, sort of like Geist, only they're not merging with people, you are the ghost.
Yes, and you're in, well, in the Wraith the Oblivion, you're in a Shadowlands, which is like kind of like our world, but not. So you can see everything going on in the real world, but it's like offset, which is why you show up all hazy to real people.
Makes sense.
But that's not what we're here to talk about.
It's called a sidebar.
Yeah.
I'm good at those.
Tangent. Yeah, tangent. I never played Hunter the Reckoning, which I think was the original one. And the only reason is that him calling you?
That is him trying to call. I just muted it.
Oh, sorry, Sean.
From what he says, he'll hear that in about 30 seconds.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, I never and the only reason I've checked out Hunter the Vigil is because we were going to do the thematic thing. But what I realized while I was reading, especially last night, the chunk that I was reading, is the Knights of the Night are playing Hunter the Vigil. And I thoroughly enjoy what they're doing, and I understand it because they're explaining things as they go, and they're doing the mechanics as they go. So I realized that I didn't need to read anything. I just need to refer to that podcast a whole bunch.
That works. But you should try it. It's a very fun game. It's interesting to create a character in this world who all of a sudden realizes supernatural exists. And try and figure out what are they going to do about it. Because, like I said, you can do the TV show Supernatural approach where it causes problems, shows up on a radar, and they go kill it. Carte blanche. Doesn't matter. They will go kill anything. Or you can try and run it like my little brother's campaign has ended up, where we've made alliances with groups out of all the different game lines.
Okay. Well, I don't know if he's told you about us each running a game on air like this. But
he has.
The game that I'm running, we're actually creating characters tomorrow at an hour earlier than we started tonight. And it's not Hunter, but I mean it's technically Hunter because I wanted him to create mortals. It's slightly in the future, and I have this really wacky storyline going on, and everybody's going to thoroughly enjoy it. And at some point in time, they may become supernaturals of some sort. Maybe. So
is it interesting?
I wanted them to be in the military because the thing that I needed them to have access to military stuff to get to this certain point and to go through these certain missions to accomplish the goals to get basically to they'll be free at some point, but I wanted them to be in the military in the future, so that when they get to the point to where I can free them up, they can go, well, that made sense, and you know, I enjoyed that. Now that we've got this cohesion between the group, we can actually do other things now.
That's a good way to start off. Every member of the group, all the characters already have a connection. They already know each other. Easier to send them as a unit into something, and then they're more likely to stay together as characters rather than split apart when they leave the service in the story.
And having read the Hunter now, at least a little bit, I'm going to have to go through tonight and early tomorrow the compacts and conspiracies so that I can see if anything that is there they can use to go towards their goal. Because the basic premise is they are a small, elite military unit, part of a larger military unit, but their little group deals exclusively in weird shit.
Task Force Valkyrie. If you have not read about it yet, then that describes them to a T.
I know about that because that is the central, like, the Knights of the Night, their group is hunting down missing Task Force Valkyrie agents. So I knew something about that, but this, I don't want, well, and maybe they'll end up being Task Force Valkyrie, but that's the general premise, is there's different units, and their team, which is Green Team, and plus I like the color green, if you haven't guessed.
No, not a clue. Not at all.
Green Team, their specific job is to tackle the really weird, supernatural, odd shit. So they're going to be coming. There's no plans at this point, for at least the first mission, to have any supernatural beings in there whatsoever. And by supernaturals, I mean the mainstays, the vampires, werewolves, wraiths, whatever.
The normal big baddies that, you know, will run all over them.
The ones that have established game line books, there's no plans to add them.
Fair enough. They'll probably thank you for it.
Maybe. We would have talked about how to play Hunter thematically. How is Sean running his game thematically? Like, is there a mood that is going through it? Do you have a set of goals every week or month or however often you play?
Our characters don't generally start a new storyline. I'm not sure if I'm using the terms correctly. We have an overriding story arc and then many lines, normally covering one of the main other storylines outside of Hunter, in it. When we start, we generally don't have any plans or anything. Our characters are going about daily routines, and something happens. We have somebody come into the shop and something unusual happens afterwards, or we find something unusual in the news and we start looking into it. Or one of our allies go, hey, we aren't in a position to poke and prod this to find out what's going on. Would you guys mind?
So you happen across plots, basically.
Basically. Once that gets... It normally takes about a session or two for us to slow roll, get started, you know, start getting enough intel to go, okay, this is actually supernatural and not just, you know, okay, unusual shit happens occasionally. And then we actually start getting into the running people down, kicking in doors, doing questioning, finding out what's going on and trying to either resolve it or end it. Resolve being diplomatic, and end means we kill whatever's causing the problem.
Do you have a cohesion for the group more like the military, or are you just like a group of, like, are you like the Goonies who are busting in on stuff randomly?
Well, originally the three characters we had was mine. My philosophy on playing a game is to build a character that's like me, so when I learn a new system, I don't have to go, what would this character who went through all this, you know, this was his life before I'd react. And I could just learn the game. So my character is retired military bomb squad. The other person who plays was playing a cop, and you know, he was in training. So he and I both sort of worked in the game. Our characters in the game worked as if we were a unit. The third person originally was a EMS personnel.
Okay.
Generally, we're more of a Goonies at the beginning. We're all loose and scattered and, you know, whatever, splitting up the group, running into dangerous situations. Oh, what the hell are you doing? And then by the end, when we realize the threat, we tend to come together and move and react fairly tactically.
Well, he's sending me messages too, and he says it's hard to motivate you.
It can be. My character's vice is sloth.
You guys have no cohesion, or at least you had no cohesion, and the theme that he is going for is how and when to act as part of the game. So
that would make sense. I missed it. It was obviously too subtle for my obtuse.
Oh,
mess.
well.
But yeah, he's right. Cohesion normally didn't start happening until the very end. My character communicated everything. If I learned something new, I told the entire group.
Okay.
The person who was a cop, oh no. If he could keep it to himself, if he could make the situation worse, if he could split the group up, he did. Every single opportunity he had. And the other person was kind of new to role-playing, so he just kind of tripped along however he felt like. So yeah, cohesion only happened when it was time to go kill something.
Well, in the book, the themes, one of the themes is listed is mystery. So there's like a constant search for some truth going on. Is that something part of Sean's game?
So we're going back to
loosely.
The beginning area for
He does have a few main plot points that he's trying to get the characters motivated to dig into, more so than we are. That the cop character was very, very interested in a few of them and has actually gone and done some digging and kept all the information to himself. My characters tripped across some of it serendipitously. You know, like, oh, hey, look, I have found information. It's shiny. Throw it in a bag. I'll look at it later.
Okay, so you said that you guys have deals with all of the supernaturals, or at least some of the supernaturals.
Some of.
Do you have does each character, or does the group as a whole have agreements?
Both. Overall, as a group, we have more contacts, but the cop character specifically is in contact with the sheriff of the local group of vampires, who is sort of having fun poking at us and using us like his cat's paw until he gets bored and decides to take us down.
Well, at least that's what he's hoping, but I mean, if you guys are as jacked up as you should be, knowing just slightly about the compacts and conspiracies, is your character a member of a compact or a conspiracy?
Yes, I'm one dot into the Union, and I'm the only member of the group who is part of anything.
The others aren't anything?
Nope, we're just base level group of hunters running around. The Union doesn't utilize me, I don't utilize them much. It's one of those things that we introduce later into the game, and between my youngest sibling running the game and me trying to figure out what to do with it, we haven't quite figured out how to mesh them in there. His plan was later, and I believe 2 or 3 more stories, we were going to all become part of a conspiracy. My character was going into the Igis Kedoru, and the other 2 were going somewhere else.
Yeah.
The Knights of the Night, the way he's got it, since they're looking for missing members of Task Force Valkyrie, they are thrown together by multiple compacts and conspiracies. So each one is basically a part of a different one. The one that you just said, I think they pronounce, I don't know how it's pronounced, but they pronounce it Aegis Kaidoru.
And they might be right.
And I don't know, because I don't speak foreign languages.
I'm a stupid, muddled-tongued American. I'm just trying to pronounce as best I can. Normally the abbreviated version's AKD.
Well, there's that one, and then one of them's part of the Chiron group, or maybe a couple of them are part of the Chiron group. There is I'm pretty sure there's a Maleficius Maleforum member. I think there is...
Malleus Maleficarum, yes.
Yeah.
The Witch's Hammer. The Catholics' version of a witch hunting group.
Yes, because there is an actual nun as a member of their group.
The Malleus is nothing to laugh at. They are a nice conspiracy.
Yeah, the guy that's playing the nun he's like, I'm in this situation, I want to do a benediction, and then he reads the whole benediction, and you're like, holy crap. That was awesome. Yeah. Wait a second. Let's see here.
What's he chiming in with now?
He's saying that the Knights of the Night are pronouncing it wrong. I don't know. Like I said, I'm just saying the way they pronounce it. But each member seems to be a member of some other conspiracy, and they're all put together to accomplish this one goal. Because I guess Task Force Valkyrie is like completely missing.
Wow, now that would be odd.
Bot shows up.
The most recent episodes, the one that I'm following actively, to not ruin it, the whole point of their game is to find out what happened to Task Force Valkyrie, and I'll give a slight spoiler here. So anyone that's watching, you may want to skip ahead just a few seconds. The slight spoiler is they've actually found at least one member of Task Force Valkyrie in the most recent episode. So
Nice.
yeah.
Not too big of a spoiler. You figure that's going to happen in the storyline anyway eventually.
It's what happens to that member. That's the spoiler, but I'll leave that out. But yeah, even if you're not into the Dresden stuff, the rest of the Knights of the Night I thoroughly enjoy listening to them, and I'm not a big Dresden fan. I mean, when they said we're going to play Fate, I was like, eh. But as I was listening to it, I was like, okay, well, what happens next? Well, what happens next? I want to hear what happens next. Keep going. And then when it ended, I was like, well, now I'm sad. But I'm not so sad because they're going to go do White Wolf again. And that's what they jumped into again. So
Nice.
I'm right with that.
Dresden is a quintessential World of Darkness book. It very much employs the theme of mystery, as you mentioned earlier. The character's dynamic. The situations are explosive. It's good storytelling, and the way it works just fits into the World of Darkness perfectly.
Well, I liked as a player, I liked the concept of being able to change things on the fly with the fate points. As a GM, though, that would be nightmarish.
Yes.
I could not run that system. I can play it, but there's no way I could run that system. But the other thing I like about Knights of the Night, and what I have had a hard time finding, which I'm hoping the green team will be, that is a team of people looking to character develop. I am not the enemy as the storyteller. I would wish that players would stop treating me as the enemy, because all I've had so far are people trying to thwart my plans because I'm a storyteller. Unfortunately.
Yeah, but that's how it always ends up. It's always... A lot of people have more of the mindset that I'm here to play the game, the storyteller's providing it, therefore it's a competition, so I need to defeat the storyteller. Rather than an opportunity to create a persona and watch it grow and develop. You know, let it grow organically in the game and let it go. And just represent it.
I've normally run into combat monkeys, and I'm only really super versed in Vampire the Requiem. And every time I run something, I run into combat monkeys. So what I'm looking for, the reason I run Vampire, the reason I'm involved in Vampire, is because I want the political intrigue. So
the backstabbing, the double entendre, I'm going to make you trip into your own demise. Yeah.
Yeah, like you've told me something horrendous. I'm going to go tell your worst enemy that so that they can undo you, so that it moves me up the ladder.
Yeah.
That type of thing. Now, the Knights of the Night guys, they're all cooperative. I mean, most of them are family anyway, but the players don't come into it going, God, how can I really screw the storyteller today? I'm playing a character, and they're all into the long haul. I love making epic games, but I can't find any players to stick with me the whole epic, so I really need to learn how to make smaller chunks.
I understand. I mean, I am really, really, really upset that my youngest sibling is no longer here, because we were getting to the point where we were about ready to go into conspiracy. Our characters were getting, powerful in their own right and able to do things. And we weren't even halfway through the story yet. The story was still developing, and it's over.
Isn't he going to try to do this over Skype or Google Plus or anything like that?
Well, if today is any indication, probably not.
Assuming things go well, maybe he can have his roommate at the college churn faster while he's on the internet.
Yeah, needs to throw some feed in front of the chickens so they run quicker.
Exactly.
Boost the signal. Put some tinfoil on the antenna.
Oh,
We're horrible.
we are. We're horrible people because they're not that bad in Idaho.
No, they seem like nice people. They were fun to be around, but man, the internet sucks.
And I'm sure it's just the college, which strikes... I dropped the cap in my water. It strikes me as odd since you think the college would want to have the best internet for the students.
Well, the college probably does. He's in an apartment.
Oh, that's his own fault.
Yeah, it is.
That's your own fault, Sean. Own fault.
Ah, okay. He says in 3 stories we might have reached the conspiracy level, and he wants me to mention an odd bit of character development he and I ran into with my character.
Okay.
It's odd because, well, first off, you have to know a little bit about the AKD, and you have to know that before we were looking at this, or around the same time, we were messing around with starting a second campaign doing Scion. And my character was going to be a child of the Morgan. Now, he and I were talking, and he said, you realize when you go through the AKD ritual, you know, we go through the labyrinth, they initiate you into their conspiracy, you basically acquire a second name. My response is like, what, like Full Metal Alchemist? I'm going to get like an official state title? He's like, yeah, something like that, only not as hokey. And so he's like, so what do you think? What are you thinking about? I sat back and I was like, I don't know. How about I invoke a deity? That would be awesome. Morgan, death goddess, prophecy, fertility. Come on. This is going to be awesome. And I know they have like Raven-themed relics. So I was like, okay, this is going to be fun. And he just started to looked at me and went, I can use this to screw you over. I can use this to make your life a living hell. And I was like, oh, great. What did I do? Now, the funny thing was, he was going to say, yes, the deity actually exists, and takes notice when I say its name, and basically starts causing hell for me. But eventually, it would turn out that, you know, everything would smooth out, everything would work out over. So I'm not sure if that's wholly thematically appropriate for World of Darkness, or if it's a vestige left over from looking at Scion, or our original intro into role-playing games, Dungeons & Dragons. But I thought it was an interesting twist, and it's going to be amusing at least.
Well, Scion, as I understand it, isn't connected to the World of Darkness, so, I mean, it is its own separate entity, so it doesn't need the crumbled facade of our world / gothic punk thing going on, but
yeah,
I really want to play it.
Oh yeah, it looked fun. I had a great character thrown together for it.
Yeah.
It fell through. My first semester back at school, Sean was too busy running the Hunter game to do anything else, and the third player, because we lost our vestige, had just joined the Pikes Peak Community College Law Enforcement Academy. So his character was training to be a cop, and for some reason he decided to imitate his character, and his schedule went from completely open to he did an entire associate's degree in 1 semester.
Nice.
Crazy.
That's like the vampire campaign I was running. The guy who was basically the cohesion of the group, which I didn't realize at the time, his job hours changed, and that pretty much collapsed everything because people stopped showing up.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Hey, it's interesting to it's always fun to be the GM, and you're sitting there, and you don't realize that character is the glue until all of a sudden they don't show up, and everybody else just kind of wanders off. It's interesting to watch the actual real-world group dynamics that way.
Well, if you haven't been paying attention, which probably haven't been, I haven't been a player since 1997. Because I can't find a storyteller, at least not on anything that I want to play. I can find people that want to do L5R. I can find people that want to do not Battletech, the Mech Warrior, but they want to do the miniatures portion, not the role-playing portion. I can find people that want to do Dungeons and Dragons. I can find people. There's another game that somebody's running too that I can find everybody to do anything except what I want to play, and when I want to play it, I'm basically the one running it because no one else
Oh, great.
will run it for me.
Managed to do some repairs.
Sean had that problem. I couldn't. Like I said, for me, World of Darkness is fun. I love the fact that it's more storytelling than it is just roll dice, roll dice, roll dice, roll dice. It gets old after a while, but the storytelling, the character development, the fact that the dice don't always determine everything was fun.
And that's why I like it. Either World of Darkness. When I was the player in Vampire the Masquerade in the Navy, we played almost nonstop for 72 hours straight.
Dang.
And
Pulling a watch?
no, we all had the weekend off, and for some reason we decided not to sleep. I don't remember why. There's a whole slew of stories that go with this. If you can, let me write it down. The Coke can pyramid. I'll tell you about that in a minute. Anyway,
Wow.
I'd say there was between 9 and 12 hour stretch where not one person picked up a die at all, because we were things were flowing. We were in combat situations now and then, but I don't think that there was ever a point where it was like we were advancing the story. So I mean, that's 72 hours. It was definitely 3 days because we got off. I want to say we got off after work on Friday. Nobody had any work Saturday and Sunday, and I'm pretty sure Monday was a holiday, which means we fell asleep Monday afternoon because we were running out of juice. But yeah, there was a good 9 to 12 hour stretch where nobody touched die. Now, I've also run sessions with my dark green group. It was either the first or second or third session. The main guy, the one who plays Enzo, he made the comment towards the end of that session. He's like, I don't think we've touched any dice this at this point yet, and I've got all these dots here that I want to use them, and I made a conscious effort to get them someplace to roll something, but I mean, we were all going through just rolling. I'm just rolling with what was going on, and I like that. I would rather do that than sit there and roll.
Yeah. I like the randomness the dice add, but in any game where you're not having to roll every 5 seconds, huge plus in my book. But like I was saying, Sean's problem is the same. None of us could figure out how to run the campaign. So he wanted to play Vampire, he wanted to play something, and he kept getting stuck as a storyteller.
Yeah, and that's part of the reason we're doing the whole back and forth. He's running something, I'll run something first, and then when my first section ends, I'll be a player, and that'll be the first time I've been a White Wolf Onyx Path player, like I said, since 1997.
Enjoy the break. Being a
I
player is
will.
nice. Being a player is nice. All you have to do is show up and go, what am I going to do today?
Exactly. And I'll get to actually make one character instead of worrying about the whole freaking world like I'm going to end up doing for the other game.
Trust me, I've never GM'd as a White Wolf in a White Wolf format, but I have done D&D. So I get you. Coming up with the whole world, having to generate random names, keep track of who's where, what's going on. And the way I always tried to run it for me was I tried to make the entire world dynamic so that I broke the world into sections, and when they were out of the section, I kept a mental note of what's progressing in the overall story there, so that when they moved in, I could go, okay, here's what's going on. And that just turned out to be such a huge task. I ended up dropping it. It's like, I'll just BS it. Trying to keep the entire world running didn't work.
Well, when I first started running, when I was running Werewolf, when I very, very, very first started, I was just doing everything short of actually making a character sheet for all the NPCs, each NPC. Now, not the full thing, but basically notes. Whereas this person has a 5 strength, this person has a 3 strength, speeds, just so I could come up with die rolls real fast. Yes, that was eating up a lot of my time. by the end of the time in the Navy, after that 3 years was almost up,
Jeez, so
I
it's real
was
easy. Even for a
running
dummy like me.
werewolf on the fly with no books, and I knew more than the people that were actually holding the book. So they would be asking me about a power. I would give them the answer, and then I would tell them what page and what book to find it on. Because I was referencing things so often. But, like I said, I have a problem with, I can't seem to create the one-shot. It's all epic. I mean, I had these long-term stories, and nobody could...
One-shots are hard. Everybody seems to underplay it, but a good, well-thought-out, dynamic one-shot that isn't just kicking indoors and killing things is really hard to work.
Well, with Green Team, where I want them to be, the reason I have them as the military is not anywhere near... I mean, it's like six chunks later, so I will get to play 5 times before I actually run them through that scenario. But I have 5 other missions to get them to that point, which is kind of how I've been trying to work it. And technically, I guess those are one-shots, but they're longer than one-shots.
Oh, we gotta go south, don't we?
Yeah. It's more like a
This is
short
a-
story that
that's
is
not the-
part of a bigger story versus you can do this in one sit-down session.
What I'd ideally like to do is, as we play it, and then as I'm a player, create however that mission turned
Yes,
out.
You've got the logical
Create an
thinking, and I'll
SAS.
follow you.
For that, so that other people can run through it too, but all the SASs link
Yeah.
eventually. We'll see how that works. Oh, we've horribly tangented it off of Hunter, but that's okay.
That's okay. It's loosely related. It counts.
So,
Says who?
oh well, so what? If possible, if you and Sean are on next time, you guys talk about the Hunter also, and then we'll go from there. 'Cause
I'll shoot him a note to make sure he knows to remember that.
Well, he should be our only viewer right now. But
Uh-huh.
I promised to tell you about the Coke Can Pyramid.
Yes, you did.
Okay, the 72-hour game-a-thon. We stopped for, I think, one guy... There was, let's see, there's the storyteller, 2 Jasons, and me. So there was 4 people playing. We may have had a 5th drift in and out, which our group of vampires that was set up, that was okay because we had it set up to where, we didn't need everybody all the time. So the 4 of us definitely made it through
Sounds like
most
a
of the
plan.
72 hours. I think we only broke for meals and anyone that really had to take a shit or something. Like a long-term, like a 15, 30-minute break somewhere in there. But yeah, the only other time, because the galley only serves so many times a day, so
Yeah.
we had to break to eat. But we knew we were going to be playing a lot that weekend, so a bunch of us bought, huge cases of Coke. I think we had 9 or 10 cases of Coke, regular Coke,
Wow.
in bottles. We drank, no, not bottles, cans. We drank every single one. We were out. I think we did the last 8 hours without anything to drink because we were just trudging through. But all the empties, we made a Coke can pyramid. I believe, let's see, the base was fairly big, but it was almost 6 feet tall. I mean, it was tall. It was built up. The very top of the pyramid was 1 can, and I think there was 4 per 1 can. So if you go down that way,
Wow.
3-dimensionally. That can pyramid stood, I think, 3 or 4 days. But we built the can pyramid while we were playing, so we would empty one and we'd stick it in the pyramid. I don't know the math, but whoever figured out how big the base needed to be, we built up from there to figure out to use 99% of the cans, because I don't think we used them all. So after we got done playing, I think that was in one of the... It wasn't in my room, I know that. We ended up breaking to sleep after that Monday. And I want to say it was a Wednesday or a Thursday where we all got back together to do a quick... get us from the weird place we were in to someplace normal again.
Yeah.
After that session ended, the storyteller, whose name is Chris, and one of the Jasons got into a wrestling match in that room, and
Oh no.
I don't remember which one landed, but somebody was lifted off the ground and landed on the can pyramid, so most of the cans were crushed or deformed fairly seriously. And I think there was some serious bruising going on from all the edged stuff, landing on a pile of cans like that.
At least they weren't drunk.
No, well, I don't think they were drunk. We drank a lot in the Navy, especially the weekend that happened is we were deployed to Okinawa, Japan, and let me tell you, having been to Okinawa for a total of 10 months in 2 separate deployments, everything to do on Okinawa Island can be done in 3 days after work. I was
Wow.
there for 7 months the first time and 3 months the second time.
Never got a time to hop around, see any of the other islands in the chain?
No, the Okinawa is so far south that you had to take a plane, which means you needed at least 3 days, and it was so hard to get leave when you're deployed. It was just not worth it. Plus, the plane tickets are expensive.
I believe it. I believe it. I mean, I hopped through Japan on my way back from Korea, stopped in, I got held over at the airport, had to wait a few hours, went to try and buy a drink and make a call home, say, hey, I'm coming home, I'm on leave in between 2 stationings, and God, I think that's the most expensive phone call I've ever made.
Yeah, my first time in Okinawa, there wasn't. I mean, we had the setup was weird. It was so long. It was from late '94 to mid '95, I think, was how long we were there, or late '95, something like that. And that particular deployment, we had the guy who I was staying. My roommate knew he was dating one of the Air Force ladies, and his best friend was a utilitiesman, and he installed a phone jack in our room, and he got some sort of local service going because of the Air Force girlfriend, and because of that, we could call out on different rates, but they weren't much slower than normal. I mean, it was still fairly super expensive to get anything going. One TV channel that was in English, and that was the standard American Armed Forces radio and television station.
Which gets really old after about 40 minutes, tops.
Yeah. There was a there was a weekend where everybody was on duty for most of the time except me, and I ended up sitting in our recreation building. I don't remember what the hell we called it. But
Yeah, I know.
me and 3 other guys were sitting on the couch because we were the only 3 there for some reason, and we were watching sumo competition from start to finish. We were trying to figure out the little diaper that they wear. There was colors, and there was the strings. Some strings are solid, some strings were wavy. We had figured out by watching just this one event, one day, how these sumo wrestlers were ranked just based on what they were wearing, because the sound wasn't on for some reason. And because of that, I'm a sumo wrestling fan.
Everybody's got weird hobbies.
Yeah.
Over there, it's a big thing. You know, that's their WWE. And at least it isn't staged.
No, yeah, it's well, and I was actively watching while Musashi Maru was still wrestling. He doesn't wrestle anymore. He was the grand champion at 99% of the events. He was really awesome to watch. So, but he's gone now. Or he's retired now. I don't think he's been wrestling for quite some time.
Now
But we are way off topic now.
Yes, we are.
But, well, I'm not sure how long we've been running, at least in this instance. Probably about 35, 40 minutes.
We started at 7:30 and it's 9:10, so...
That wasn't me this time. That was Anthony.
Okay, so about 40 minutes, which is good.
Tabs on the wrong.
Sean's going to be able to talk more about Hunter. I've only got what I've read and listened to in Knights of the Night, which I should be linking in the audio metadata of this file. And if those of you who are watching haven't listened to Knights of the Night, go listen to them. They're awesome.
I'm planning on it.
Yes. Now, the audio is kind of it gets better as they progress. So when I suggest listening to episode 1 and going from there rather than trying to go with, hey, let's start. I think they're in episode 120 or something like that. So don't start with 120 and then jump back because you're going to be like, oh my god, terrible.
Sean's mentioning that we have been running for a long time, apparently. I'm telling him it's two old military folk he's catching up on Scuttlebutt.
Yeah, that's bad news too, because my wife is in the other room, and I've told my Navy stories so often that she's heard them all, so I can get started on one. She starts rolling her eyes like, oh god, not this one again. But I have a buddy who wants to hear them all, and he likes hearing the same stories over and over again. And what he doesn't realize, I do embellish here and there, but most of it is what actually happened, like blow by blow, like the Kokam Pyramid, for instance. That actually, it wasn't a big, huge body slam. I mean, it was just somebody picked somebody up and just chucked him into the Kokam Pyramid.
And the pyramid goes, crunch.
There was cans everywhere. I mean, it just exploded, and there were so many that we didn't even attempt to do that again. It was too much work. I don't think we went 72 hours straight after that. We knew we needed to stop playing when we were on our way to our last meal break before we stopped playing, talking as if we were all in character.
Yeah, that's normally a good sign of, hey, you might need a longer break.
Now, the players, there's no problem, speaking in character. The game master he couldn't join in the same way because he didn't have a character. So he's just listening to he's the one that said, we should probably stop playing soon.
Conversely, he has too many characters to try and pick a voice to use.
Yeah. Well, he had a character with us too, so maybe he was talking, but he was the one that pointed out that we were playing too long. And I think the actual reason we stopped was because somebody passed out. I mean, we went so long that somebody just gave up.
Never done that. Luckily, me and my younger sibling are ADHD, so the fact that we can focus for 3 hours on a game is a miracle in and of itself. Normally, at about the 3-hour mark, we are so
I wouldn't say any more than any other
freaked
man.
from just sitting there focusing that we have to get up and leave. We have to go do something else just to break I wouldn't say monotony because it is a fun game, it is engaging, but the monotone of the activity.
Yeah, focusing on one thing. I personally believe I am also a little ADD because I can be talking with somebody about something and something will pop in my head, and if I don't say it immediately, I'll forget it. But as soon as I say it, then we start drifting off conversation, kind of like we did here.
Yeah, well, that's the way conversations go, is you start on one topic and they naturally flow into others.
Yeah.
But, so, we hopping back on to Hunter?
Well, I'm probably going to draw us to a close so that I can go to sleep, because I've got to watch a football game tomorrow.
Ah, Steelers? No. I'm not a football fan. I have no clue.
Really? You really don't know who this is?
Nope.
This is the Atlanta Falcons.
Okay, there we go.
And we are hosting the Seattle Seahawks, who won their game last week. We had a bye. And the winner goes to the NFC Championship. And the winner of the NFC Championship goes to the Super Bowl. So all I need to do is win 2 games to get back to the Super Bowl.
Well, good luck to you and your team.
Yes. That's why I've been wearing the hat, to advertise that I am. And I'm a bona fide Falcons fan. Some people think that I was bandwagon. That's not the case.
I've only ever said that if people push me, my team is Green Bay Packers because that was my dad's team and I like the color green.
You know, you figure I like the color green too, and I'd be a Packers fan, but I only mild. I know if the Packers are taking on somebody I despise, I'll root for them. But other than that, it's just okay. If they're good, I'll watch them. If not, I won't.
Nah. My sports have always been paintball or other things, and I've never liked watching. I've always preferred to engage in the activity. It's not much fun for me to sit there and watch two people hit a puck, throw a ball, bats back and forth. It gets old quick for me. Now, if I was down there doing it, that's a different story.
The only two sports I actively watch are American football and soccer, or European, because my team there is Manchester United, which is I consider them to be the best team in the world.
Wasn't that the team mentioned in the movie with, oh god, Frodo? The actor who does Frodo did the movie It's Green something or other? They're walking out of the pub down the street singing the song Bubbles in the Air, Bubbles Everywhere.
I don't know that one.
It's that one with the thing with the place.
Yeah, I don't know that one. I do know that. Have you seen The Day After Tomorrow, the movie?
Yes. I just
Okay.
despise that movie.
The two guys in the little research station in the middle of nowhere watching a soccer game on TV.
Right.
They're watching a Manchester United game.
Okay. Yeah, don't get me wrong. The movie was not done bad. The actors did a good job. I hate the writers because the way the characters were written was stupid. I'm going to get this axe on a ship, use it to break in a window, and not keep it with me to, chop firewood, collect chunks of ice to melt into water, anything else.
It happens. It happens.
Oh, stupid characters. I hate them.
But if anyone wants to reach the show, getting us back on track, if anyone wants to reach the show, we can be reached at echoesdarkly@gmail.com. You can also find the general limeflavor.com Facebook page, facebook.com/lime-flavored.com. Or if you search for limeflavor.com on Facebook, you'll find us. We also have a Google Plus page. If you search for limeflavor.com, I know that Felix, you found the page and this account. So
Yep.
I have an actual page too. And then of course you can find us at limeflavored.com, which is probably the best way.
Might have been a little simpler.
You can, and there's links to all those places on limeflavored.com. So if you just want to make your life easy, limeflavored.com.
Yeah, me too.
Do it, people.
Yeah. And unfortunately, Sean couldn't join us. That's too bad. He could have kept us on track a little bit better. He could have talked more about Hunter than we did, because you're only a player, and I've never had the experience beyond Knights of the Night. And, well, hopefully you two can get into that a little bit more next time.
Hopefully, I've mentioned it to him, and he's like, "What? I missed that part."
Oh.
I think the chicken stopped running for a second, and it glitched on him.
He says, "I was there in spirit." Yes. And Sean, we will fix your problem. What we determined is you need to add this account to your circles. Not my old account, this account, because this is a separate account. And hopefully we'll get that all figured out and go from there. But that's all for now, I guess.
Sorry for the tangents, people.
Yeah, well, you know what? That's the way we roll. I mean, Sean and I we've tangented quite a bit too. What? Somebody sent me a message.
Yeah, I just heard that sound. It's like, is that me? What?
He's asking.
Back
what
out me in that safe spot where I can back up. I'll be out of the side of it. The enemies should wake up.
I'll holy buckets! I got a rainbow wheel, Sean. I'm trying.
Oh, I can still hear you.
Yeah, you can help him too get through that. Once we're not broadcasting, my typing will go faster too. But the rainbow wheel is killing me.
Over where?
Let's see here. No. This account has no profile
Alright, I'll
picture.
leave it off now.
That's what I was saying. I know I was saying stupid. But I should end it here. So, Felix, thank you for joining me.
Not a problem. It was interesting.
Oh, wait.
And we'll have you on again in the future. I've seen you in and off screen here once in a while.
Catch you tomorrow.
Yes, he would say something and I would have to chime in. Or I'd try and photobomb him from behind.
Yeah, yeah. I actually like the background in your room there because of I'm big into bookshelves and having them in screen because there's a lot of interesting stuff I see on bookshelves.
Oh yes, those are the family bookshelves, and they are completely jam-packed of random, amazing things to read.
Yeah, and once I get my set done, you won't see any of this crap, the printer and all the paperwork, and I haven't gotten my room cleaned yet. But, hello, public. Hi. We're having some technical difficulties at the moment. Please bear with us. Going to attempt to invite. You know what? Invitation is posted again. I don't know who I'm talking to. I got no viewers yet. Can you guess who I'm rooting for tomorrow, people? I can talk to the pig. Let's go check that. Check some text here. Hang on. This is the greatest broadcast ever. I'm so awesome. I'm so awesome. I'm so awesome. Problems with the technicality of technology. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I just don't know what else I can do, really. That wasn't quite the ha-ha I was looking for. I am the best host ever, though. There's no crowd laugh? Come on, that sucks. Oh, here we go. I am the best. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Woo! Okay, well, let's see here.
You know, I really like some of these themes, but they don't offer a customized header.
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
Still broadcasting to nobody.
Silence! I kill you!
I love all these little, Oh, man. Don't do that. Did you hear the shortest joke in the world? Two women sit silently next to each other. Thank you. Thank you. Women don't sit silently next to each other.
Oh.
That's the joke. Yeah. See, they all get it.
What do you think about these colors?
I don't think that's going to work. All right, I got to stop this broadcast, folks.